Joining us, I'm County Executive, Anne Arundel County Executive Stuart Pittman, and I think this is the most people we've had on this stage that I've seen on this stage, and it's holding up pretty good. And I wasn't sure if anybody would show up just to sign an executive order, but when we put the word out about what this executive order was going to do, yes, people showed up. And so I'm going to sign an executive order, but we've got a few things we want to say first. Executive order has to do with Juneteenth. And last year on Juneteenth, I remember a kind of a small gathering compared to what we're going to have this year. And everybody said, next year, Juneteenth in Annapolis in Anne Arundel County is going to be a really big deal. So we've got some folks who are going to talk to you about what's going to happen this year on June 19th. But I have an executive order that I think I will hold till the end to read after you all have talked. But I just want to say something about why Juneteenth is important to the country and to this county. You know, the Emancipation Proclamation didn't really do much other than say, if the Civil War gets won by the Union soldiers, then slavery is no longer going to be allowed in the United States of America. And in Maryland, we have our own Emancipation Day. Janice Hayes Williams would be sure to remind us of that. And we celebrate that as well, because that's when, in Maryland, the legislature made the decision to end slavery officially. But the Juneteenth has become the national holiday. And we don't have a holiday to celebrate freedom, liberty, and justice for all. The things that we say when we pledge allegiance to the flag, things that we're still working on in this country and in this county. And Juneteenth is a moment in history that probably more than any other day in the history of this country, in my view, was a large step forward. And when you take a large step, you remember and you can look back on it and you realize that it was a step. It was just a step. And so we're still working in this county on getting to the point where we really do feel like we have the for all part of liberty and justice for all, and the for all part of the best place for all. And it's really hard work. We're doing it through our health department, our Office of Health, Equity, Racial Justice. We're doing it in our office. The new position that's going to start very, very soon. You'll meet our new Director of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. It's going to be a cabinet-level position. And we have a lot of work to do in this county still. But I think we have very active organizations, very active people. Folks in this county know how to organize and demand justice, and that's what we're going to do. So I want to introduce a few folks who will speak, and then I will read you the executive order, and then I will sign the executive order, and you'll find out what that executive order actually does at that point. But first, I want to bring up T. Adams, who is the organizer of the Juneteenth, I think the executive director of the Juneteenth committee. There you are. Come on up.
And anyone else who comes up and talks to you, say your name, spell it, and your affiliation. Because I'm live on here. So.
Okay. Hi, my name is Phyllis T. Adams, also known as Miss T. PHYLLISTEEADAMS. I am the visionary. I am the executive director. And many will ask, why are we celebrating Juneteenth? I know I heard the story about Maryland's emancipation, but I'm going to tell you the story of why we are celebrating Juneteenth this year. Last year, let's start with last year. Last year, I woke up and I had a dream, as I often do, and I went to my husband and I said, babe, I had another dream. And he said, oh, Lord, what is it this time? Because he knew what was about to unfold. And I said, I had a dream, and I saw in a field, I saw this big field, and I saw nothing but celebrations. I saw people talking and fellowshipping and having a good time together. And I said, God, what is this dream about? And that was the end of it. Normally, I can go with a long spiel and tell every detail, but that's not the way he decided to do it this time. 3 days later, I woke up and I heard the word Juneteenth. Honestly, I had no idea what Juneteenth was all about. I had never heard of it. And it was kind of sad that I hadn't, because we weren't taught those things. So I said, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing another thing. I've done way too much. It's time for me to enjoy me. And my girlfriend said, it's not about you, boo. And she said, you need to listen to what he's saying to you, and you need to hear him and follow through. So then she told me, go back to sleep. It's like, so you woke me up at 6 o'clock in the morning to tell me to go back to sleep. And she says, tell me what he said. And then when I woke up, I said, well, if it falls on a Saturday, I might consider it. Lo and behold, I checked the calendar, and it was on a Saturday. And I finally said yes to the vision. Fast forward, I met with some people that I've been connected to for years. Some were new to the dream. And I brought them on board, and I told them about the vision, and we started implementing the vision. Who in their right mind would implement a vision knowing that we were in the middle, we were at the very beginning stages of COVID? We couldn't even meet in public. So what we had to do was I learned about Zoom, I learned about Google, and I learned all of those things in between. And we started putting together Juneteenth. A lot of people looked at me like, she's crazy. This one is not going to fly. I've been told that everything you touch turned to gold. They said, but not on this one. People are dying. And I said, I have to trust the vision that was given to me. So I continued planning. The village came on board. They started supporting. And from that point, we kept moving forward and moving forward. And we will start on Friday. Friday, we will have a VIP reception. And if you have not gotten your ticket, I hope all of you will get a ticket and come out and support. And that's from 6 to 9, and that's at the MC3 field behind the Westin Hotel. On Saturday, we're going to start the celebration with a libation ceremony, and then after that, the parade will kick off at 12 noon. The parade will go up to Maryland Hall and end at Maryland Hall. From that point, we will go to the Bates Weems Whalen Field Annex, and we will have an all-day celebration. What I'd like to thank the county for is because they took our empowerment package. An empowerment package says to me is like, we trust you, we believe you, we give you the power to move forth. And with that, they backed it up with funds. A lot of times people will support, but funds of this nature an event of this nature is not possible without funding, and funding is still needed. So we thank the county for stepping up and doing the empowerment package for us. We thank them for believing in us. We thank you for every volunteer. We thank you for every dollar that you've supported us with, and we thank you for the many dollars. But we also want to make sure that you come forth and you come out and celebrate with us as only Annapolis knows how. At the end of the event will be a special surprise, and we hope you all will stay. But to the county executive, thank you. Our hearts go out to you, because without you, this would not be possible. For all of the volunteers that you see standing around us, thank you. We believe, thank you for believing in us and making this possible. Am I good?
So we got a lot of dignitaries here, and I'm not going to introduce them all, but before I introduce the next speaker, I want to just note that we have elected representatives here as well. We have Senator Sarah Alfrith and Delegate Sandy Bartlett. There she is right in front of me. And Delegate Heather Bagnall and Delegate Dana Jones and Councilwoman Lisa Rodvian and Councilwoman Sarah Lacey. So thank you. And then we have the president of the local NAACP, Jackie Austin.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jacqueline Boone Alsop, and I am the president of the Anne Arundel County branch of the NAACP. JACQUELINE BOONEALLSUP. The freedom of African Americans from slavery in the United States in 1865 is celebrated on the holiday of Juneteenth, on June 19th. Juneteenth is made up of the words June and 19th, and it is on this day that the Major General Gordon Granger arrived in Texas more than 155 years ago to inform slaves that slavery had been abolished. Today, Anne Arundel County is recognizing Juneteenth as an official county holiday. County offices will be closed as they would be on Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday. This is a historic event for this county, given the significant number of hate crimes reported in this county in the recent years. The Anne Arundel County branch of the NAACP stands in solidarity with the Anne Arundel County Executive Pittman, who had the vision to recognize that inclusion requires action. Thank you, County Executive Pittman, for your vision and commitment to our county. You have made the citizens of our county more aware of the challenges faced by African Americans. We applaud your administration's creative and visionary actions spirited on by your leadership, and we are encouraged that your efforts will help build bridges that divides the existence of Anne Arundel County. The Anne Arundel County NAACP remains at the forefront of encouraging that advance equality for all people and all races. Yes, we asked to have a seat at the table when the newest police chief was chosen in this county just a year ago. Yes, we asked to have a seat at the table when the newest equity officer is being selected. And yes, we have testified before the county council, the state legislature, on numerous occasions about equity in resources, bringing body cameras to the county police force expeditiously, and uneven application of law in school discipline cases. We will continue these fights surrounding injustices. We are mindful that there is more work to do. The Anne Arundel County NAACP embraces the words of Fannie Lou Hamer: nobody's free until everybody is free. Thank you.
Thank you. So now you know what's in the executive order that I'm going to sign, but that's okay. I haven't signed it yet. Yeah, we had a lot of people we wanted to have get up here and speak, but we thought we only had room for 3. And so normally it would be probably Carl Snowden, convener of the Caucus of African American Leaders, but of course Carl always says, bring on the young folks, the new leadership. So come on up here, Mo, Lloyd, and tell us what you think.
Mo Lloyd, M-O-L-L-O-Y-D, President of the Youth and College Division, the Anne Arundel County NAACP chapter, and President of my own nonprofit, Superior Future. Before I start my speeches, I'd love to say peace be with you all, shalom alaikum, and assalamu alaikum, because I'm big on solidarity and ensuring that we're all together. But I'm honored to be speaking right here, especially as a young black male growing up in this country. I was fortunate enough to learn about the holiday of Juneteenth in high school. I had a African-American female teacher who graduated from the illustrious Bowie State University, and she was teaching us this in an elective. It was African-American studies, which I believe, should be required at our public schools. But with that half a semester that she taught us about Juneteenth, I was always blessed and I was always honored, because it helped me realize what Angela Davis is continuously saying on a daily basis, that freedom is a constant struggle. And here in Anne Arundel County, where a lot of our racism is concealed, You know, it is amazing that we're finally honoring Juneteenth, and we're finally honoring all of the liberated, enslaved individuals who were once forgotten about. And that's something that we all have to make sure that we are pushing on the next generation, even the generation after mine, is that we have to rectify the past and ensure that history is being taught the right way. And when I say that, I mean even the history of our county. A lot of you may not know, but right here on this common ground, it was a flourishing black neighborhood that was bulldozed because of this parking lot. So it's an honor to be speaking about Juneteenth, but as a county, as a community, as local leaders, as elected officials, we have a moral obligation to rectify and revitalize this once thriving community, and many of the thriving communities in the county that were destroyed by racism. Because if we're not rectifying the past, we will never have any true progression, because we'll always be holding that burden. So I am honored that we are celebrating the Juneteenth holiday. I'm honored that we're making sure that we're having an actual event. I'm honored that we're making a holiday where employees get the day off. But we always have to. I mean, when I say this, I truly mean it. We have to. We have to rectify the past, because there are many of people who are still being destroyed mentally, physically, and morally from the past, and people who were silenced in the past. So when the county executive signed this executive order, we must remember that it's just the start of a long journey. And the freedom is a constant struggle, and the journey will always continue. But as long as we keep it going, as long as each generation keep the fire, as long as we enlighten each other and empower one another, we will prevail, and we will see the other side. Thank you.
Thank you, Mo. A couple other people that I missed: Alderwoman Rhonda Pindell Charles, and from Senator Van Hollen's office, Jaylen Mahoney. So let's get this done, huh?
Before you move, I'd like to ask you one question.
Okay.
You would pick maybe one other, or one volunteer. The significance of this week with the Black Wall Street going on, and the young man was talking about history, and the people history having to go down to here. Slaves came in. There was a couple houses where they unearthed. How do you guys feel about this week to announce this? It's more significant than anything else.
We were supposed to be out here on the cold, wet Sunday for Black Wall Street and Arundel County, and we postponed that because of rain. So we're going to be doing that, I believe, on the 12th. Okay, thank you. On the 12th, and that's an important. The 100th year anniversary of the Tulsa massacre was something that I think this year finally this country heard about. And people who'd never heard about it learned about it, and we want to teach people in this county about that as well. But part of what that's about is, and what that event is going to be, is promoting, encouraging, and growing black-owned businesses in this county. And so that will be coming up. I mean, the history in this county has got to be told. Our school system has to tell it better than it ever has. Our students need to learn about Anne Arundel County's history of racism, of Jim Crow, of slavery, of structural racism since then, of what the Republican Party's done, what the Democratic Party's done, what politicians have done throughout our history. So we've got a lot of work to do, and this is, like Bo said, this is just the beginning. So let me read this before I sign it. Let me know if anybody thinks we should do any edits or anything, but I think that's been done already. It is about a 3-day weekend, though. I mean, you're right. When you do a 3-day weekend for something, people think about it. People think, why? And now, that's only for county employees, but other businesses can do the same. And so that's Friday, and then Saturday will be the big celebration. Executive Order number 48, celebrating and commemorating Juneteenth, June 19th, 2021. Whereas on June 19, 1865, U.S. Major General Gordon Granger, having arrived the previous day, with his troops announcing the end of the Civil War, issued General Order Number 3, declaring that all enslaved persons in that state and throughout the United States were freed by the Emancipation Proclamation and were now forever free from bondage. Whereas June 19th has come to be known as Juneteenth and accepted and celebrated as the commemorative end of slavery known as Freedom Day in the United States, as the residents of the state of Texas were the last population in the United States to be officially informed of the Emancipation Proclamation and the legal abolition of slavery in the United States, whereas June 19th is now recognized as the oldest known celebration of the end of enslavement in the United States and has been celebrated as a symbol of universal freedom for all Americans, a reminder of the terrible hardships and losses suffered by African Americans in their centuries-long struggle to attain freedom, and a tribute to the memory of those who made the ultimate sacrifice in this quest. Whereas Juneteenth celebrates an opportunity for all residents of Anne Arundel County to mark a holiday of education, reflection, and celebration, to educate ourselves on the history of our county, to celebrate the end of enslavement, and to redouble our efforts to rid our society of its shameful legacy of racism, discrimination, and inequity. Whereas it is fitting that all residents of Anne Arundel County join to commemorate such an important day in our nation's history and to reflect upon and rejoice in the freedom and civil rights that we all share as Americans and as residents of Anne Arundel County. Now, therefore, I, Stuart Pittman, County Executive, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Charter and laws of Anne Arundel County, Maryland, do hereby proclaim an order on this second day of June 2021. June 19th is hereby officially recognized as Juneteenth. And since Juneteenth falls on a Saturday this year, on Friday, June 18th, 2021, all county offices shall be closed in recognition of Juneteenth. And all full-time county employees in the classified or exempt service shall receive administrative leave on June 18th, 2021, and if required to work on June 18th due to the nature of their position, shall receive 1 day of annual leave. I pledge to advance appropriate legislation to make Juneteenth a recognized annual county holiday. Looking at over my county councilwomen, I know they'll get this done. For all county employees and facilities pursuant to Section 6130A of the County Code, this Executive Order Number 48 shall take effect immediately. The County Public Information Office shall immediately disseminate notice of this executive order to the appropriate news media and to the general public. This executive order shall be archived at the Office of Law. So.